Teachers, in this video we'll see how to manage your classes. There are three options. You can either use one of the imported classes and go directly into it and start creating your content, or you might already have content created from past years and you want to copy that class so you can use the same content in this year, or you can start from scratch and create a brand new class. So let's look at each of these options. If you're going to use the class as is, well, you just need to go in. I'm not sure what I'm going to see when I go in here. It's not my class. All right, this is an empty class that has no content. And we'll come back to it in another video on how you can add content to any class. So I'm going to go back. So that's the first option. Just keep in mind that there's one for, like for example, this one is the same class and it's for 4 different groups. So if, you have the option if you want to go to each one and repeat the content to each and every one of them. Okay, but there is another option where you can create your own class, whether it's copied or from scratch, and import the roster of each of these 4 classes. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, there are 5 actually, 5 classes. Okay, so let's see the example or how we can get started with this. So I would start a new class. You can give it a name. I'm going to write something that I can delete later because I'm borrowing an account. And next. And finish. There. Okay, so this is my class. If I have copied a class, then you'll see the content that you had from the copied class. So now that I'm in this class, this is going to be called a master class. It's going to have several rosters in one. We can only have one roster at a time per class. So if you need to have more than one, you have to manage sections. So I'll go here to manage class, edit roster. And first of all, I'm going to create sections. That way I can have several rosters in one single class. Important. If you are creating a class and importing a roster, even if it's just one roster, you have to create a section. Okay, so in either case, when it's a created class, when it's a manual class, you must create sections. Okay, so these can be renamed. This can be, I'm going to edit and I can call this 6A, 6B, or however you want to call them. And for each of the sections, I can add more. For each of the sections, I'm going to import students. I'm not going to add them manually. We want to import a roster so it's linked to PowerSchool, and any updates that there might be, they will automatically reflect in your roster. So we're going to import students, import from another roster, and here what we can do to simplify it is add or select the year, search for the class. Oh, I forgot what the name of it. And something that will make it much easier is select the only list my classes. Okay, I'm not sure if this is the one. Yeah, these are Danisa's. Okay, now when we're doing the roster and importing rosters from classes, make sure you're using the roster that is for the current semester. You will see almost identical classes for semester 1 and semester 2 if that's the case. So make sure you have the right roster. Okay, now the codes that you see here, all of these have 1, these have 2s. This is semester 2. Okay, so careful with that. For example, this one, U.S. History K-1277, it's in name, it's identical as this. However, the code is different. This is semester 2. Let's say it's this first one, semester 1. Here, I'm going to import to section. Yes, keep it with the link option on. Continue. Well, there was only one student here, but you would usually see all your, I don't know, 20 or more list of students. Import students. And here, that's it. So now I'll go do the same for the next section. I'll go now again to manage sections. You can notice that the roster that you've imported in the manage sections window will show this button of link unlink. That's the way it should be. That means the roster was linked properly to your class. Now I'll do section B. Import students from another roster. Make sure it's only your classes, so it'll simplify the search. 2021. If you have a keyword that you can add, if not, it'll still show all your own classes. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. And so what I can see now is that I have sections, and this is really transparent for students. They will only see the class that they're enrolled in. The sections is more for the teacher's management. Okay, so the most important thing is when you are working with rosters, if it's a manual class, that is one that you created, even if it's for one group of students, one roster, you have to create a section first, so everything is aligned correctly when you look at grades and classes. So now I'll go back to where my list of classes is. Now remember to make active only the classes that you really need, or if it was a master class that you created manually, then that's the one that should be active, and every other class should be inactive, as the ones that are showing up here in this tab.